Hi everyone, I'm Emma Cowling, if you don't know me already, and I am here today to talk about 5 ways to grow your authentic leadership. So over the next half an hour or so, I'm going to be just covering some 5 tips, 5 areas which I think are core to authentic leadership, and sharing some quite practical tips that you can go away and have a go at and just build into your everyday life. Now, the reason for doing this, the reason for kind of doing it in this way is that I'm passionate about authentic leadership. I think you probably know that already. Kind of it's in the name of the group, it's in the name of the mentorship program that I run. And so I think it's really important part of who we are as women in tech, stepping up, being authentic, but also more broadly in tech. All leaders, if they just showed up a bit more authentically, then I think it would just be there would be a massive difference in this world. But what do I mean, first of all, by authentic leadership? So for me, authenticity is about showing up as yourself, showing up as who you are, being connected with what's important to you and being willing to speak out about it. And for me, authentic leadership is then about stepping out and being a role model as that person, showing people you, showing people the whole of you, not necessarily kind of the kind of the it doesn't mean being showing absolutely everything, but it means giving them a clue to who you are as a person, what you believe in, what you enjoy, what you love, and keeping on showing that and showing them that that's absolutely possible. So for me, that's what authentic leadership is all about. And the reason that I'm kind of in here and my passion is around authentic tech leadership and female role models in tech is that I think we need more women out there speaking up and being themselves. When we're in an environment where it is male dominated and we are different, we feel different, it's much more difficult to show up authentically. We feel like we need to fit in and we need to pretend to be more male. It's like we get drawn towards putting a mask on. And this isn't just a thing as women that we do. I think maybe we do get more drawn towards it sometimes than men do. But actually, I think if you put any person in an environment where they are different and they feel different, then they are more likely to put on a mask and try and be like the other people, because that's a very natural thing that we do as humans. So any element where we're different and we're trying to fit in, that's where we start to mask our authenticity. So I just wanted to kind of bring that out and talk about that. But the other thing I wanted to say before I get going is that authentic leadership isn't a tick box. It's not a thing that you get to. It's not an achievement that you kind of say, yay, I'm an authentic leader now. Hey, I can stop trying. Authentic leadership, I think, is about just keeping on showing up and being a little bit more authentic, stepping out a bit more each time, just day by day, deepening our skills in this area. So you'll never get there. You'll just keep on showing up a little bit more and going deeper and deeper. Because what happens is we discover more about who we are and what we stand for. And we discover more about the world and how we fit in it. And we discover more about how we want to change the world. And so we're constantly shifting and growing and evolving. And that's another reason why kind of ways to grow your authentic leadership. It's not about 5 ways to be an authentic leader. It's about how do we grow into that role. And the tips that I'm going to share tonight all kind of are things that you can continuously be doing. So I would love to hear comments, questions. If you're happy for me to see who you are, then tick the box. Hi, Steph. It's good to see you watching. Saying, yeah, felt like you were in a box when first joined the tech world and had to prove yourself in the tech environment. And that's not just, I mean, me too. Yes. And I still do. When I go into different environments, I still feel like I have to prove myself to fit in. It's a natural instinct that we have. It's our security instinct. If we stand out, then people could throw us, kind of leave us to fend for ourselves. And if you go back to kind of the old, I guess, hunter-gatherer days, but even if you go back to when we were child, if at that point we needed the security, we needed to fit in with our tribe. So our parents, we needed them to kind of look after us. And so as humans, there's a natural instinct to try and fit in and be looked after, and to work with others. But at the same time, we need to recognize our uniqueness and be willing to stand out in order to make our mark in the world. So hi Steph, great to see you. And what I was saying is, any questions, any comments, any challenges that you particularly have that you'd like me to just unpick and explore, I'll come round to them at the end. But I want to make this as practical as possible, and I want this to feel applied so that you can go off and do it. You can go off and start kind of growing even further. So yeah, please do comment, and if you're watching this on replay as well, I should say I will be checking back in, so I'll come back to things, and I can either create videos about it separately or just answer in the comments as well. So what are my tips? What are my 5 ways? So let me get started with number one. Number one, get to know yourself. Now, the thing that I really want to draw out here is get to know yourself and get to know just how unique you are. See your uniqueness, see what you bring to the world. And for me, this underpins the authenticity element. This underpins kind of, we've got to respect ourselves. We've got to see the value that we bring, because that's how we speak out about it. And I know that this is a tough thing. This has been one of my challenges for a long time. It's recently I've started to feel a lot more comfortable with who I am, and I think that's because I've started to shift in my understanding of myself and start to see that, do you know what, it's okay to be unique, and I really am unique, and I don't need to be ashamed of that. I bring elements to a discussion or a conversation that are perspectives that are different from others, but there's no right or wrong. And just if someone doesn't agree with me or doesn't really kind of want to listen to me even, that's not about me. That's just saying that they're in a different world. So what do I mean? What do I want to say about this? So, right, when I start to say you're unique, so I used to hate it when someone said to me, what's unique about you? It's like one of those job interview questions, and it's just really kind of a bit there. I hated it. The thing that actually, when the thing that I was okay with when I struggled with that question is, what's different about you? And it's funny that being different and being unique, actually uniqueness is about what's different about you. So they're the same things. But what we're saying is that if we start to think about how we're different from other people, then we start to see that we are unique. And the things that make us unique are all the experiences that we have ever been through in our life. We are the only persons who have experienced every single the experiences that we've done in the order that we've done them and how they all fit together. And so we are unique. Our experience of life is completely and totally, utterly unique. You could take 2 twins and have them there going through even very similar events, but they will still have their own unique experience. So we are all unique, and that is just something that is really useful to start to recognize. And those unique experiences, those combination of experience, they shape us for who we are. They give us our identity. They give us our skills, and they give us our capabilities. As we go through those experiences, we learn from them, and we develop and we grow from them. But not only that, those skills and those experiences, they form the things that we say are important, the things that are our values, the things that are our beliefs, and they start to build up together to create our identity. And so when we are there and we are looking at our identity and who we are, we can start to unpick that in terms of what can we do, what experiences have we been through, what do we believe in. Now, this is one of the things that I've just been working on for my mentorship program. So there's a module on this that I've been kind of going through some of the bits of it and trying to pull this out and helping people to just sort of think, okay, so what is it? What are my skills? What are my values? What are the things that make up who I am? Because when we start to see who and get a feel for who we are right now, based on all the things that we've done, we can start to really enjoy it and respect it and celebrate those things that have brought us to this thing. and know that our experience is okay. There was no other experience for us. This is just us. The other thing I want to draw out here is the fact that as when we start to look at our identity and we start to think about self-worth comes in here. And the question I just ask about this is how do you value something which is unique? When you have something where there is no other existence of it in the world, there is no way to put a value on it. So you cannot put a value on yourself and your combination, and there is no point trying. So self-worth and kind of all that stuff that starts to underpin that and starts to think, okay, who am I and what's my value? That's not the question. The question that we get down to is who am I and what's the value of all the things that I've done and how do I kind of continue to build on that? But that value isn't you, it's the things that you've done along your journey and how you might package them up to serve someone or do something. So for me, getting to know yourself is core for getting a feel for, well, showing up authentically and being brave enough to show up authentically, being very brave enough to see yourself and show yourself and know that it's okay that you're different from everyone else. So that's my first one. And I'm just some lovely comments from Steph and just kind of about developing confidence and worrying about what people think. And this is so, as humans, as I say, we struggle with what people think and how they're going to judge us and the value that they put on us. And then we go and put value on them as well, and we think about them in different ways. But if we can step away from that, if we can stop valuing other people and putting a value on them and see that it's their skills and what they do that we're putting a value on, we can start to realize that that's what we can do to ourselves too. So I said I was going to give some practical tips. So my one practical tip for getting to know yourself, what can you do to get to know yourself better? Well, I want to put this as celebrate yourself. So just start to check in on those things that you have done, those things that you've achieved, or the things that you failed at, and notice the way they translate into your life. Notice the way they come through. And I don't mean go away and spend hours doing this, but maybe just once a day, do a little check-in and think, what have I done today? What have I learned today? How can I celebrate myself a little bit more today? And by doing that, by having that little bit of self-reflection, it gives us the chance to really get to know ourselves. And we start to get a feel for what motivates us, what we believe in, what's important to us. And that really starts to come through. So it's just the noticing, it's building your awareness, being curious, and kind of, so maybe it's just about having something by your bed as you go to bed at night and just writing down something great that's happened today, having a little notepad and so that on those days when you don't feel like doing it, you can flick through all the other ones and see them and kind of go, yeah, no, actually I am okay, aren't I? I'm not bad. So that's my little tip there about getting to know yourself. And if you want to go deeper, then as I said, there's plenty in my mentorship program for that. But there's all sorts of elements that you can do and can just dig into your values, your skills, your capabilities. You can take the time out to do that. Number 2, authentic leadership. So authentic leadership isn't just about us. So we don't just get to know ourselves. We also want to get out there and make a difference. And this is making a difference to others. So for me, this is about having your mission, doing the thing that is important and making the changes that you want to see in the world. Don't get out there and don't just sort of moan about the things that need to change. Get out there and do something about it. Pick the thing that you really are passionate about, that you want to make a difference to, that you can, if you build on your skills and your capabilities, you can just do one thing towards it. Then you're making a difference. And this is where you start to step into your leadership role. Now, it can be easy on this to sort of read this as make a difference to others' lives. So I need to make a difference to loads of people's lives and have a massive impact without really thinking it through. So we can actually have a massive difference to a lot of other people's lives through someone else. So this is one of the things I've started to really see in the coaching I'm doing is that if I help one person to go out there and reach 1,000 people, and if that person wouldn't have done that without me giving that nudge, then I've had a ripple effect onto 1,000 people. and those 1,000 people might then reach another, some of them might reach another 1,000 themselves. So suddenly it starts really rippling out. So you don't need to have a big impact on lots of lives as a starting point for being a leader and for making a difference. All you need to do is make a little difference to a couple of people or to one person. And even if that was every day or once a week, you just made a difference to someone else's life, then you are having an impact. And if you can start to recognize that that's what you're doing, what you'll find is that you'll start stepping up a bit more and you'll start doing a bit more. But really appreciate yourself, celebrate yourself for what you're doing, so the difference that you're making. So it's really kind of, for me, this is just the thing that I think we get complicated. Sorry, the thing that I think that we get very caught up in is the idea that in order to be a leader, we need to be leading lots of people. We need to have lots of followers. And this is just what I want to reinforce here, is that we don't have to have lots of followers in one go. We can just start building, start doing little things, and you will find that people do start to follow. If you think about the people that you respect and the people that are out there making a difference, they didn't just do it just like that. They kind of built it slowly, and they made a difference to a few people and then a few more, and they gathered their message and they kept on going. And so if you know yourself and get to know who you are and kind of what's important to you, and then you get out there and you start speaking out about the things that are important, then you will make a difference. One small tip, one small step for this. So something you could do every day is just smile at someone, be kind to someone, just one person each day, and just be nice to them, or just because that comes back to the ripple effect. I don't know if you've ever seen it, when someone has smiled at you and that's made you smile. That kind of approach has made you feel a bit better, which has meant that you've then passed it on to someone else. Sometimes, when there's loads of kind of videos about this that were going around a while ago, but it's what happens when you smile at one person. You brighten up their day, then they go out and brighten up others' days. You're making a difference to lives by doing that. So it doesn't need to be something big. But the thing, if you want to take it that next step, you might choose to every so often just step up and do something which aligns with your values. So go out and volunteer in an area and get to know a particular community that you want to be part of. Go and start to get interested in a group of people that you would that represent the change that you want to see in the world. Start out just by doing some research and getting to know someone, because you showing an interest in someone else, you just taking that interest in their world, can make a difference too. You being like you saying to them, yeah, you're important too, you're unique too, and I want to know about you and I want to know about your story. That's a massive boost that we get from that when someone says that to you. So it doesn't need to be about you going out and proving yourself and having sort of this knowledge and telling people what the difference is that you're going to make. It can just be going out and exploring and getting interested and knowing that as you do, it'll come through. If you're thinking about, sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent here, but the thing that came to mind is that even your boss. So let's just think that you go into work and your boss is having a bad day. You showing up and just kind of smiling and saying, shall I make you a cup of tea? And recognizing that they're having a bad day. Is there anything I can help with? That makes a difference. And in doing that, what you're doing is you're leading through your behavior. You're being a role model through your behavior. So all of these things build up and make a difference together. So I'm just reading Steph's comment again. With the support team I work for, we try and have at least 5 to 10 minutes every so often in the day to have a laugh and a giggle about something that happened at work or in our personal lives. I love that. That's just it. That as a team, it's a great team bonding. But at the same time, you're all impacting each other and you brighten up each other's lives. So, and the lovely thing, Steph, that you've done there is by sharing that, someone else might come away from this video and go, oh, that's a good idea. So this is you stepping out and making a difference by speaking up. You're speaking up on these comments. People will see it and think, oh yeah, we could do that as a team too. So it doesn't need to be a huge thing. It's just sharing your insights and the things that you've seen, and then other people apply them. And slowly over time, people start to say, oh yeah, they're showing up, and they're a leader. They're a person I want to know more about. So just recognize that. Number 3, if it's not important, don't do it. So I think that this is something that we overlook so much. We get so caught up in our busy daily life, and we get very caught up in thinking we need to do everything. And we don't question, is this important? And what happens is we start to feel really overwhelmed. Now, I've deliberately started with the getting to know yourself and making a difference, because these are the things that kind of define what's important to us and what's important to other people as well. How can we make a difference? That's the important stuff as well. That's kind of where the important stuff gets defined. So if you're thinking about questioning, is this important? You can ask, how is this making a difference? And if you can't answer that question, or if it's not clear, then you might want to just stop for a little while and just kind of think, actually, do you know what? Maybe it's not worth my full effort doing it. Maybe it's not worth me putting all that time and energy into it. So as we step into leadership roles, we become busier and busier because people want more of our time. And so we've got to start getting good at understanding what's important. And this is importance over urgency. We can get very confused when things feel urgent and they've got a time on them. We can often think that they're also important, but it's amazing how many things are no longer important once the deadline's passed and we realize, oh, I've just wasted a load of my time. So getting used to just questioning in what we're doing, is this important? How is it making a difference? Really kind of does help us show up more authentically. And because it means that we're aligning ourselves with the things that are important to us. Now, the one thing I really want to draw out here is that doesn't mean you can't have fun, you can't enjoy yourself, you can't play, you can't go and kind of relax or watch TV. The things that are really important, the things that should be at the top of your importance list, is looking after yourself. And if you get to know yourself, then you've understood what it is that you need in order to show up at your best. And so putting that first, when you show up at your best, you can have the most impact. So looking after yourself, having fun, playing, being in your most creative state, allowing your state of mind to settle, that should be at the top of your list for importance. So don't dismiss the things that you enjoy because they're not important in the world scale. This is important to you too. So I just want to encourage you to reflect on that. But that's the big thing that I just want to say, is that the little tip, the little thing you can do every day, the thing that you can keep on building on, is just showing up and knowing that you can question the things that are going on, and you can question whether it's important. And it might also be that it's not important to you, but it's important to someone who is important to you, in which case you would choose to do it. But actually, one of the things that is really valuable is just being willing to ask the question of that other person. And because they don't always ask, they might also be thinking, oh, actually, is this important? So you saying, okay, so why is this important? Not in a kind of way that sort of challenges them, but just saying, so why is this important? Why is it important to get it done by then? Just encouraging them to check in can help you to focus your time and know what's important about it. And so that you can kind of then make sure you deliver what's actually needed instead of wasting your time on other things. So that's number 3. Go out there and just question the way you're putting your time and your energy. But make sure you are putting time and energy into you. Number 4, failure. Trying new things. So this is me coming back to that uniqueness that we bring, and how, so all the things that we've experienced in our lives are things that have happened. All the stuff that is going to happen in our future is new. It's going to be a combination of those things, but there's space for the new to come through. And if we allow that space for the new to come through, we can achieve things which have never happened before. And this is going into the leadership, the visionary side of things, the ability to dream, the ability to imagine, but just allowing that space for new things to happen. But knowing that when that does, there is a chance that we might fail, then that's it's being comfortable with that and getting comfortable with that. So the more you can get out there and try the new things and be willing to fail, and this then feeds back into the way we cover this, and the way I've talked about this many times in this group, but also within the program that I run, is looking at resilience, thinking about and noticing just how resilient you are. And the more we can get out there and try things and fail and see that we're okay with failure, the more we can get used to failure, the better we get at doing this. So to start with, it might not be that you're trying a big thing. It might just be that I'm going to try and do something that nobody else is going to notice, so it doesn't matter if I fail. But I encourage you to do it, to quite quickly move on to doing the bigger things, the just getting out there and having a go and playing with stuff. If we approach this, instead of kind of thinking of it as something we've got to prove ourselves on and that it's going to mean something about us, if we can step away from that and see it as playing, see it as an adventure. So if I think back to when we first got Layla a couple of years ago as a puppy, she was playing with absolutely everything. She would pick up a toy, she'd run around, she'd fall over, all this stuff would happen, and it was all play to her. But actually in that playing, she was failing all the time. She was just she didn't really know what she was doing, but in doing that playing and doing it in a playful way, she was learning about the world. And because she was in a playful state, she actually found that she learned more quickly. And that's what we do. If we can be in a playful state, we can try new things and get excited about them and then go, oh, well, that's failed. Let me try this instead. Then we're much more likely to grow and to learn. Failure is the way that we learn, and we learn best by failing. We learn best by pushing the boundaries, and we learn best by having a go, seeing whether something works, and then getting the feedback from that. So, and I think this is such an important leadership skill, to get out there and try and have a go and be able to be willing to think big and do that. And yeah, so this really for me is underpinned by seeing our resilience and seeing that we are okay no matter what happens. And that's such a big thing that I've talked about lots, but it's something so on my mentorship program, it comes up in pretty much every call. It's an underpinning thing. So there's an underpinning core module in it, and it bubbles up in every element of it. So failure, being able to deal with judgment of others, being able to deal with resilience. Let's take it back to knowing, if you know yourself and you can see all the things that you've gone through and how they build up to be who you are, you start to get comfortable with all those failures that you thought of were failures in the past, and see how that learning has come through, see how that's made you uniquely you. So starting to get comfortable with that, and then being able to use that as a foundation to go and try new things and to go and play. That's the element that I would really love to encourage you to do. And if I go back to what I was saying at the beginning, that whole idea that our value is infinite. Our value is we cannot put a value on who you are and your self-worth. It's invaluable. But let's say that you put yourself out there and you fail, and so that maybe questions your value. But if your value is infinite, then you're just taking a little bit off infinity, so you're going to be okay. But you're never going to come down. There's never going to be a point. There's no way that you could ever turn around to anyone and say you're worth nothing, because they never are. There is always something that they can bring in the world, and that's from their unique combination. So just kind of absorb that and go out and try and play with things. And my little tip, my kind of small step you can do is just try and be playful every day. Try and go and have some fun. Try and pick something that maybe, if you're a little bit kind of nervous about, think, how could I bring a playful element to this? How could I make it a fun thing to do? And go and do it. Go and see what happens, and notice that you are okay, even if you fail. So that's my number 4. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of talking when I've been doing my program. So I've been doing lots of recording over the last couple of days, so I'm a bit dry throated. So okay, number 5, don't stress about stress. So I just love, when I wrote this down, I was like, yeah, that's what I mean. It's so easy. And as humans, we will get stressed. We get worried about stuff. We get caught in a low state of mind. This is how I tend to talk about it normally is we're in a low state of mind. And so we feel stressed about all the things that are going on. I think I've mentioned this, but definitely in the mentorship program, the analogy that I have is this idea that we're in a virtual world and there are zombies coming at us. So if you ever played a zombie game in VR, or you can imagine what it might be like to play a zombie game in VR, basically these things are very real and they are coming at you, and we get stressed about them. Our body reacts, it gets scared. But when we've got a VR headset on, we know it's not real. So, but actually, that's what's happening in real life. The stuff that we're stressing about isn't real. And the thing that tends to happen is that the more stress that we have, the more we stress about things, the more we see things to stress about. And so basically translating that into the zombie idea, the more zombies there are, I'm sure you've played or can imagine the games where we start fighting the zombies, and that just means more of them come at you, more and more and more. And that's what happens with stress, is the more stress there is around, the more appears. So we have to kind of break that cycle and see that it doesn't help to stress about stress. We want to let our mind settle. And I don't just mean our own stress here, I mean other people's stress. You know what it's like when someone comes to you and they're completely stressed out about something, about all the things that need to happen for something that they're doing that you're involved in, and suddenly the thing that was feeling really calm and I'll be okay doing it, suddenly you think, oh, should I be worried about this or should I be worried about that? And suddenly the stress is coming through. So I'm just encouraging you to notice that, and notice how we react, and notice how our state of mind can change, and how the zombies can appear at any time. But actually know that those zombies, the more we worry about them, the more we stress about them, the bigger they start to seem, and they're not as challenging as we think. And you can often see this by the fact that after an event we look back and we think, oh, all those things that I was worrying about might happen, and I was trying to put stuff in place for and stressing about, none of them happened. Or in fact, one of them happened and I would have dealt with it anyway. And it's just starting to see this element of it. And the reason that I think this is so important in leadership is because you are the person, that you are the calm. If you can be that calm, when everyone else is kind of reacting to the chaos, when something goes wrong, if you can be the person that stays calm and just recognizes that, okay, this stress isn't helping us. It's not saying that we shouldn't be stressed about it. It's just saying this isn't helping us to be stressed about it. Stressing about it brings loads more extra energy burning, and takes that away from our ability to deal with it. And I'm really starting to see that more and more. So I am in crunch mode right now. I've got no idea why I decided to do this talk tonight, when I've got 1,000,001 videos that I'm kind of juggling and trying to get into the system that where I'm sharing stuff for the mentorship program. And it would be really easy to start to feel stressed and overwhelmed by it. But instead, what I've noticed is I've started to see, oh, hang on, I'm getting stressed. Oh, well, I better go and do something else. And there's this thing screaming at me going, no, you need to kind of really knuckle down and get on with it and really focus yourself. And what are you doing? Stress about it. But I know that if I stressed about it, I'd feel wiped out, and then I wouldn't really be able to show up and do anything. So I wouldn't just lose the time I spent stressing. I'd also lose the time that I was worn out and recovering. So what I'd encourage you to do, my little tip here, is just start to build an awareness of stress and notice how it doesn't help. Notice how stressing about stress doesn't help you get out of it. So it's kind of seeing the layers. It is completely okay to stress about stuff, because that's a natural human instinct. It's completely okay for us to start worrying about things. It's that insecurity again. But at the same time, just going, okay, I'm stressing, is better than going, okay, I'm stressing, I've got to stop stressing, I've got to get everything right and figure everything out, and letting the busy mind take over. And you don't have to. So it might be that you're stressing about stress And then you start stressing about that. If you pick whatever stage you pick it up at, that's okay. Let it settle. Let the stuff go. There's no kind of, oh no, you're a bad person because you didn't get it in time. Whatever time you pick it up and just let yourself settle, that's okay. So that would be my little tip here, is just start to notice how you react to stress and start to question it. Just get interested in it. Allow things to settle and see what comes through. So they're my 5 tips. So what have we got? We've got so number 1, get to know yourself, get to understand who you are, and that provides that kind of platform for authenticity. Number 2, get out and make a difference to other people's lives. Start getting out there and make a difference in the world, showing up as you and making your difference and being brave enough to do that. But just starting to do it a little bit at a time by starting to impact a few people and a few more people, and who knows what might emerge. Number 3, if it's not important, don't do it. So focus on the things, doing the things that are important, and be willing to question what you do and ask, is this important right now? Is this the thing that I need to focus on? And asking others too. Number 4, get out there, try new things and fail. So allow that sort of natural creativity that we all have to come through. Build on the experiences that you've had and get out there and fail and see that you're okay. And number 5, don't stress about stress. Be the calm within the storm and be the person that sticks around and can help everyone else through. And that for me is such a key leadership skill that we just don't recognize so much. Now, if you would like to go into any more depth on any of these areas, and if this is something that's of interest to you, then this is where I'm going to do my pitch. So join my Authentic Tech Leaders Mentorship Program. These elements, so the 5 things that I've been through tonight are 5 core modules as part of the program. We're doing, there's a getting to know yourself, understanding your mission, figuring out what's important to you and doing what's important, understanding resilience and seeing your own resilience, and then understanding state of mind. So those are the 5 core modules that I'm currently recording for, which is why I'm kind of immersed in this stuff at the moment. And which is what makes it okay for me to show up and do this, because I'm so immersed in it. So we cover those, and they are there available for you to go into at any stage over the 12 months. So it's there kind of loaded into a program. You can go and explore them in more detail and kind of figure out more about yourself and how it's relevant in your life. And then on a monthly basis, what we do is we go in and we pick up a particular area and explore it in a workshop. And those areas are going to build off those multiple core modules. So for example, if you want to be pitching your ideas to someone, if that's part of what you need to be doing at your work, we might have a workshop session on pitching. And within that, we'd include, well, what's your mission? What's the things that are important to you as part of this? How do you tune into that? What are the skills that you bring along? What's really important here? What do you, and how do you translate that into what's important for these other people? And what about failure? Be willing to put it out there and be creative about what you're doing, and be willing to fail and see that that's okay. So that's how we're going to be building on these things and these core modules within the program so on a monthly basis, we'll pick a topic and go into it like that and really explore it together. So I still have spaces available. I think we're probably going to have about 6 people on this round. That's my kind of probably my ideal, actually. I mean, I'd love to have more possibly, but I just like the 6 people. So it's a couple more spaces to take us up to that and confirm that. But yeah, who knows? Let's see what happens. I'm putting it out there to the universe. If you would, so I've got to click this. So that, there you go. There's the details are at the bottom there, which will take you to the website. I haven't told you about everything that's in it, but basically we are going to be exploring in more depth all these areas and then building on them to take them into your everyday life. Please feel free to DM me if you want to know more. I have space available over the weekend to just talk it through and explore how it can be relevant to you. I don't do the hard sell. This is kind of me showing up and just exploring what's going on for you in your life and helping you figure out what's kind of how this can fit into yours. So let's have a chat. Please feel free to DM me. Let's book a call in and explore whether it's relevant for you. It's £595. I should say that. That gives you the 12-month access. I can do payment plans, including over 12 months. So it works out as £55 a month. So that makes it a bit more affordable. And I really want to kind of allow as much access to this as possible, while recognizing that there's a hell of a lot of work that goes into it for me. So yeah, I hope you can join us. I would love to have a couple more people sort of stand up and join in. So get in touch if you are interested. And I hope this has been useful for you. Please go out there and be an authentic leader. Go and develop your authentic leadership skills. Go and do the little things and come back and share what you're doing, because that helps me see what's the impact that I'm having as well. What's my leadership like?